and understanding that it is that dance and that is what it'll be and it'll change, right? Like that awareness a week from now could be totally different.
It's true. It's
So,
astounding.
and that just takes me to like the power of presence, right? And just being present because you could just stay frustrated, like, and like I just got to like deal with her, like crying, upsetting me, and whatever. But we've locked in, and this is how. But when we can be more present and aware, those are like little wins, right? Like it's like, oh, I listened to my baby. Hmm, how
Mm.
beautiful. And this like I'm just getting this as I'm saying it, like, it's kind of a version of her being seen and aware. And we're more able to do that. And yeah, and then not beat ourselves up like, oh, why didn't I figure that out days ago? She's been,
Oh, right.
I know that we can go there. So I'm just foreshadowing that one. It's like, oh, it's like, no, like however long it takes that we get there is the win. And, I just want
Yeah.
to
And like,
acknowledge that ability to be present because I know that's something both you and Ryan have worked on
hmm
together.
yeah. And like, I keep coming back to like, yeah, man, part of the reason this is so stressful for us, the parents, is like, we want to do a good job. We
Yeah.
want, we want our baby to not only be healthy and robust and well in that way, but like comfortable and heard and understood. And,
Mm.
like we care about that. And shoot, we're learning and figuring it out. And there's still, oh gosh, the times when I question myself and my sanity the most are like particularly when she's gassy.
Mm.
That is like, oh, okay. Is this helping? Oh gosh. So anyway,
Mm.
there's so much, and there's so much more. It's unbelievable. Like, I think, I forget if you said that this is her 17th day of life.
Yeah.
She's been alive for just a little over 2 weeks, a little less than three, and this is a beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much more. There's so much
There
more.
is. There is. Yeah, there's kind of a lifetime together navigating. And right now, like it is very primal. It is based on like keeping her alive, keeping her fed, right?
Totally.
Like there's just it's like the basics, and is she, and the emotional nourishment, right? Like sometimes we can get so caught up in the like, uh, of course she needs to eat food to gain, I'm not
Right,
dismissing
right.
that, but we'll make that like the end all be all when, and not acknowledging, because I got to see the three of you on Sunday,
Mm,
just this past Sunday, and it was beautiful. Your space was very sweet and very present with each other, and just there was a sense of, I don't know, team isn't like a great word because it sounds so masculine, but maybe that is it, like connection, that you were all in this together and you were in good shape. And that is
mhm.
amidst all of this is like just beautiful. So what I'm saying is like the emotional needs are getting met, right? And that level of care and tending to and holding is
Yeah.
something you're providing. Because just, even talking about all of this here today is supporting her in her development and in your system.
Yeah, that's real.
Mhm.
There's like a part of me that here's another like rule to break or rule to work on
Yeah.
breaking is it's like about how it's again how about like moms are strong. And I definitely have that modeled from my mom. You just do what it takes and you figure it out and
Back it
move
up.
on ahead. And
Right.
like, so there's a part of me that like wants to shield my daughter from
Mm.
my feelings, from like there's all these messages and all this stuff. Like, yes, part of my job for her is as a co-regulating anchor
Mm.
because she can't and isn't supposed to be able to regulate herself yet. It's for me to help her do that. I understand that. And also, like, does that also mean that I can't or shouldn't cry around my daughter.
Mm.
Because
Yeah,
like
this is
that's
a big
doesn't seem
one.
right. Doesn't seem right either.
No,
So
let's bust that one because
yeah.
that's a myth I would like us all to break because there's a big difference between I believe, yes, have your emotions with her, right? And be present with yourself. And I believe that they sense, and you can even say it out loud, like, mommy's having feelings too. Like, wow,
Yeah.
look at us on this roller coaster journey. And you can reassure her, I'm not mad at you. There's just times this is hard. And I have feelings. Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think us having the feelings and letting them go is part of the supporting them to co-regulate. And you're giving her the message like it's okay. Right. She's going to do it anyway right now because that's her survival mechanism to, to have them. But I believe that you giving yourself permission in those moments where it comes up in the moment and then like, okay, I'm having really strong emotions. Like, I don't have to work on that right now with her. I,
Right.
I can have some of them. So I'm not like stuffing them down. And then we'll tag this. And later I can like look at it deeper if I want. Right.
Hmm.
Like there's something that just got triggered there for me. Like, this is, wow, where'd that big rush come from? Like, could be right from this moment and just enough. Or there's things moving
Oh
and
yeah.
grooving with you. And you might never have words for, and that's okay too, but just to allow, like, well, I'm continuing to birth and I'm birthing and tending to her and I'm birthing and tending to myself.
Yeah. There was a really, this has happened one time, so I don't know if it was a total fluke or what. There was a time when I think we weren't even feeding yet, but we were trying to. Baby was yelling about it. This isn't working. Like, yeah, I hear you're frustrated. I'm also frustrated. And I like let myself cry
Mm.
while I was holding her. I wasn't like actively also trying to have her latch at that moment. I just like we just like I just held her and we and we cried.
Uh,
She she had been kind of in screaming mode for a handful of minutes at that point, and she stopped screaming
mm.
and she like looked at me. She's like, I have no idea. Like, obviously, she'll have no conscious memory of this. I'm like, what are you observing right now? Like, what are you getting out of this? I have no
what
idea.
yeah, what exchange are we having here
Yeah.
energetically and
Yeah.
emotionally and not verbally, but we are having an exchange.
Yeah. But,
It's
she
beautiful.
kind of like paused herself, like looked, I felt myself like really considered, she really was looking at me. And then we basically quietly found our way to a latch and had a feed.
Mm.
And I was like, I don't know what just happened, but it seemed important somehow.
Based on how our discussion today, what do you think,
Yeah,
or
I mean,
sense now?
I'd like to, there's a couple things. Like one was like, oh, like this being who is holding me and caring for me and is like also has feelings and expresses them, and we're okay. That's the understanding that I want to have for myself.
Yeah,
So that's what I'll take.
I love it. Well, as you were saying that, I'm like, yeah, well, we could, since we don't know,
Yeah, we
for
don't know.
sure, we can kind of make it up also. Like, and that was a good one. I like that. I was also thinking, like, phew, she got that message. Like, gosh, now she's relaxed and it's lovely. Like, I was hoping she'd get to those feelings as this
Mhm.
wise little being is sensing you and sensing, and I'm not saying she's already like trying to like take care of you. I don't mean that. It's just like,
Right.
oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. Now this feels better. Like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. She needed that release. Yay.
Yeah.
Why are
Yeah.
we going to try and do this when we're both like, whatever, like just we can play with it. Like, and you can choose for all those messages to be positive.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's as good a guess as the like, oh, she, this was bad. Like, because the wired in message is that's bad. And she's going to think like something's wrong if I'm crying. Well, that's just our old wiring that something's
Yeah.
wrong if I'm crying, or I'm supposed to keep this quiet. And God, if I'm supposed to keep it quiet around adults, I definitely shouldn't have it with a baby.
Right.
As opposed to like, ooh, you're speaking my language now. Okay, I get it. Yay, finally, I mean, I'm playing, but maybe not, right? Like that's
Yeah.
they know the language of emotions. They see your face. It's one of the, their prime communication modes. They're just this ball of like sensory energy and, feeling that flow. So
Yeah.
I like this. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean I always then kind of want to be like, okay, if I just cry, then she'll stop, right? It's not
Oh,
necessarily about
right.
getting her to stop, but it is like, oh, maybe this is a clue. And sometimes you can like, I'm not feeling like I need to cry right now, but maybe I'll just kind of like cry a little bit with her, right? Because it's an invitation, right? Like, yeah, I'm probably feeling something too right now. Maybe I'm going to let myself feel a little bit of it. Thank you for that invitation.
Mm, yeah. I often find myself thanking her for just being so darn expressive about what she needs and what she wants. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ah,
ah,
I like that deep breath. Hi, I'm so excited to share with you my 2024 Spring Equinox Self-Mothering Retreat that's happening this March 2024. And I would love for you not only to consider it, but to attend. But in considering it, hey, just knowing that you would be leaving cold weather if that's the space that you're in and coming down to just magnificently beautiful, warm, nourishing place of 𝐒𝐡𝐤, Mexico. 𝐒𝐡𝐤 meaning land of the goddess women, and coming to really take time for yourself. Okay. And that I am learning more and more isn't just a nice thing to do or something extravagant or something selfish. It's essential. And I really want you to take it seriously to consider, just think about what would it take for me to go. It's a 5.5-day retreat, getting from where you are, getting there, landing there, and then being in a space that is all about you. It's all about nourishing you. It's all about tuning into you, using everything around us, the nature, the food, the beautiful people, the rituals, ceremonies. I bring it, we really bring it. And we go deeper and deeper as the days go on, and we release, we let go, we bring in what is nourishing, what is empowering, what is that space of just really divine feminine energy. And we do it in the community of women. It's not for everyone. I will be honest, if the idea of leaving and not making it work or it's just too hard, not for you. If the idea of, spending that amount of time inwardly focused and going to that level of self-awareness doesn't sound like something you're willing to do or put the time and energy into, then it's not for you. And it's good to know that, right? So this is for people who are serious about what it means to mother themselves, what it means to take time for ourselves and that gift and what that gift can bring to us. It was originally right after my fall retreat. It filled right up. But now some people, it turns out, are not able to come. So I do have a handful of openings. And if you're listening to this and you're willing to take that step, please reach out to me. We can do a discovery call or you can put a deposit down. I would love that. And you can do that by going to my website, www.drgertrudelyons.com. Go to events, and there you go. It'll all be there. There's a beautiful page there for you to explore. I look forward to hearing from you and then seeing you on my spring retreat. Well, we can start looking at closing up. I want you to have time before, your next time, although there's so much more I'm thinking I'm thinking about. But is there anything else that like, because I want this time to feel like for you, like, oh, yeah, I was thinking about this, or this is also kind of in my atmosphere at the moment.
I think I guess like there's 100,000 things, like you said, but as we kind of keep learning and like watching the baby first to learn, but also like learning more about any developmental cues that were like what I just got there's a couple books that were recommended and like again this is going circling all the way back to like oh we like to learn and know like
Yeah,
yep
it's a
I'll
piece.
just
It's
know
good. Yeah. We just then
and
have, yeah.
yeah I'm just excited to keep learning. I said this to her last night. I forget it was probably during a feed at some one of these times. But yeah, I'm just like being astounded. You're learning everything for the first time and in this plane of existence. You're like experiencing all this, you're seeing it all and you're forming your sense of the world and like that's so cool. And me and your dad, we also love learning and we're gonna
Mhm.
keep on learning with you and along, like alongside you and we're gonna keep learning together. We're gonna keep learning and growing together as a family and as people.
Mm.
And like that's something that I'm really committed to.
Well, I mean, that's a vision, that's a reality to live into, and it's what I would want for every mother, family unit, however, whatever that looks like to hold, right? Because that's where the treasure is. This is where the gift of the choice to bring a little being into the world has for us, right? And I think it gets buried, and we don't even know that treasure's there unless we consciously orient to it. And that's what I'm super inspired by you and Ryan doing, right? And you holding that, you can get through anything, right? Because it's, we're going to learn from this. This experience is our teacher. It's my teacher. She's our teacher. We're her
Yeah.
teacher, but she's also our teacher.
Oh, she's definitely our teacher.
I think the game is about having as many in present moment experiences as we can, and those, even if they're few and far between, what you just shared about, that breastfeeding moment and having your feelings with her and like just aware that she looked at me and acknowledged me in some way. I can read into that however I want, but I'm really grateful to have been present for that moment.
Mm, truly, truly.
And I just got to be in that moment with you, which was a huge gift. And it is. And I'll just name this and then, we can end for today. But, after our last time together and visiting you, it's like it's stirring stuff up for me that I've revisited things with the birth of our first daughter and aspects of it. So I want to thank you. And I'm like,
Mm,
whoa, like this, there's always this opportunity to heal and learn
mm.
again or see something new from the experience. Or now that I've experienced lots of other things too, how do I view this and what does it have to teach me?
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yay.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I wish I was there to squeeze you. That's part of this experience, right? Getting yourself mothered as much as possible.
Yeah,
Getting your tending to we
I
want
probably
to,
do with some more hearty doses of that.
yeah. I don't think you can get too much of that at all. Just like you can't give her too much of
Mm,
your care and love and attention. No amount is too much.
yeah,
And I'm sending you some right now, even though it's over the Zoom line.
thank you. Thank you.
Well, thanks until like next iteration where we'll be with wherever you're at then. I'm just so appreciative.
Yeah, thanks, Gertrude.
Uh, wow. I just continue to be so grateful and I hope I'm expressing it in the moment with Elizabeth enough, just how appreciative I am that, with each of these times, and I think each one, maybe even a way, gets deeper and just more raw, more in the moment, and the courage that it takes for her to, and the willingness to be in this with us in the moment and allow us to be in the journey with her. And she brought up so many, again, poignant aspects of this phase and, where she's at and the myths that she's breaking, where she's rewriting the mother code, particularly around, selfless. Like if you decide to become a mom of children or take on any big mothering role, like your needs, your desires, your whatever you're going through, really kind of doesn't matter. Or yeah, you can kind of name it or acknowledge it, but just hunker down, hunker through and deal with it. And how she's exploring and kind of unpacking that and looking at different ways. So we can do that, in our lives in so many ways. Like we can realize that, no, when I'm putting my energy so fully, forcefully, my caring into something, I'm a person, I'm a being, my care, my self-care, my emotions are just, if not, well, we'll just leave it at equally important. I'm going to say, I would say more at some level, because what we got to later then is allowing my feelings to be present. And there is a way, yes, I take care of myself, but it's also a way I take care of, in this instance, my newborn baby. And it's the best thing I can do for all of us. And I think that example that she shared and the interaction that ensued when she gave herself permission to really fully let herself feel her feelings in that moment. And that's not an easy thing to do. And the way we've been so trained just around emotions as it is, and, Elizabeth, and her husband have been dedicating themselves and working very hard. So I don't want this to sound easy to do what she did, because it's not, because we've been so wired to not be okay with our emotions. So we're certainly very wired to like, well, that must be not okay to do with a little infant. And, as I underlined, there's our responsible ways. This isn't about like dumping emotions on our child or our infant, or just blah. There is a distinction there about, yeah, I'm having feelings, and no, they're not. Yeah, it's because this is hard, but it's not your fault. And, we can reassure and make sure that they know where you're coming from. But I believe that they're pretty savvy when it comes to feeling and sensing our emotions and how we move through them. So that's another invitation for us, and wherever we're at in our mothering, to give ourselves permission to have those emotions, fully. And if we can't, because we're really in a situation where it just isn't safe, it isn't okay, the business world has not opened up to in the moment full expression of our feelings, but we can have them, and we can for sure tag to have them in a setting where it is safe, but not to negate them or not to dismiss them or try and bury them in certain ways. So I think that's one of the takeaways and one of many. And I think when, Elizabeth ended with, Ryan and I are committed to this being, we're going to learn and grow. And I think when we have that higher vision or that higher aspect, like, being in the trenches or in the moment of it has meaning, and we can ascribe that meaning, and we can draw from it, and we can, be enriched from it. We can heal from it. And I want that, for all of us in all aspects of where we're mothering, and particularly when we're in the most chaotic, stressful, upsetting ones that just feel like so intense. That's where the gold is and the treasure, like I talked about. Blessings to all of you on your mothering journey. And as I said, please take the opportunity to reflect, look for yourself, like, where am I connecting? Where am I resonating? Where can I apply this to myself and the arenas I'm mothering? And if you're having any trouble with that or any questions, please reach out to me. I'm happy to take a few moments and just support you in the moment of it right now. And you can do that, either DM me on Instagram at Dr. Gertrude, GerTrude, Lyons, Lyons, on Instagram, or there's a place you can find to connect with me on my website, www.drgertrudelyons.com. Blessings on your day. Thank you so much for choosing yourself and taking the time to listen to this podcast. As always, please rate, review, and subscribe to Rewrite the Mother Code. It helps other people who need this message, aka all women, well, actually everybody, men included, to find it. I'm honored to have you on this journey in mothering yourself. Remember, change is uncomfortable, but it's beautiful, and it starts with us. And if you can't wait until next week's episode, follow me on Instagram and LinkedIn at Dr. Gertrude Lyons, or at my website, drgertrudelyons.com, and sign up for my newsletter. I'll see you next time.